Tensions ran high today as the president made a major announcement of comprehensive sanctions against Russian banks and elites in response to what Biden called the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community. We still believe that Russia is poised to go much further.
But before we get into all that, where is Ukraine, you might ask? Well, you're not alone. A recent poll found that only a third of Americans could place Ukraine on a map, and only 4 in 10 thought that we should send additional troops or weapons to Ukraine. Still, Biden announced additional troops and military equipment to assist Baltic allies. The EU and UK have also vowed they'll impose sanctions on Russia. And Germany has halted the Nord Stream 2 Baltic Sea underwater pipeline project, which would ferry natural gas from Russia to northern Germany. Although Biden used the word invasion for the first time today in describing Russia's actions, he made it clear he does not intend to have U.S. troops fighting off Russian troops in Ukraine.
We have no intention of fighting Russia. We want to send an unmistakable message, though, that the United States, together with our allies, will defend every inch of NATO territory and abide by the commitments we made to NATO.
All that comes exactly 1 week before the president's highly anticipated State of the Union address. It also comes as the president's self-imposed deadline to pick a Supreme Court justice is quickly nearing, and as Democrats are also trying to avoid a shellacking in the upcoming midterms. So, can Biden quell this international crisis in time to produce some kind of win on his domestic agenda? Joining me now to discuss is editor-at-large at Newsweek and a former FBI double agent, Naveed Jamali. So, Naveed, first of all, on the Ukraine issue writ large, and this has always kind of bedeviled me, we're basically fighting this with one hand tied behind our backs. These are both nuclear states. No one really wants anything to escalate. And so the only kind of leverage you have is economic sanctions. Are economic sanctions enough? Can they be made to be enough to change Putin's mind and change what is happening on the ground in Ukraine?
I think the term, Charles, is proportional response, right? So before we get into that, it's important to understand that Putin just turned 70. He's been in power for 22 years. Now, just think about that for a second. You know, we're talking about Biden and looking for Supreme Court justice. He's clearly worried about 2024. President's last 4 years. That means they've had about 2.5 years of actual presidenting, if you will. Putin's had 22 years to plan for this moment. And I think that's exactly what he's done. So if you're going to stop him, and you're going to think, you have to realize first that Putin looks at this as sort of his legacy. So what can you offer besides the stick? There's got to be some sort of carrot, some sort of symbolic victory that I think Putin's going to have in order for him to kind of de-escalate. So yes, sanctions, I think, are a part of sort of keeping him from escalating, but there's got to be more. And clearly the sanctions have to be proportional, right? You can't go in with a full chicken dinner at the onset. Otherwise, frankly, if there's nothing left to deter Putin, why won't he just take all of Ukraine? So I think Biden is actually doing a pretty good job in terms of managing a proportional response.
Well, how do we prevent Crimea from being duplicated, right? So if Russia goes into these kind of disputed regions, the same way that they kind of claim that was happening in Crimea, goes into disputed regions, things kind of calm down, people stop talking about it, people stop dealing with it, there are some sanctions still that linger, but for all intents and purposes, the world said, okay, you can have it. You know, they didn't redraw the lines, they still put the little stripy signals in on maps and what have you, but he has it. What prevents that from happening again?
Yeah, I mean, so look, to talk about the regions that Putin has actually seized, it's important to understand that, frankly, for the last 8 years, there's been a war going on there. That's essentially been de facto Russian-held territory. So Russian, quote-unquote, separatists, which we all know as the so-called little green men, which refers to essentially Russian soldiers who aren't wearing insignia of Russia. And now he sent in conventional Russian forces to seize territory that essentially has been his. What Putin has asked, and I think this is what you're asking, Charles. I mean, this goes to the larger question. The Donbass is a region. The part that Russia has held for the last 8 years is sort of so-called breakaway republics that Putin recognizes independent countries, essentially, are about 30 to so percent of the Donbass region. The other 70% is held by Ukraine. So if Putin takes over the entire Donbass region, that would actually put him in conflict, well, with Ukraine, and that would be escalation. So you're right to ask, how do we keep this from being Crimea? How do we keep it from escalating? And frankly, it's got to be two things. One, it's got to be containment. So as long as Putin stays in that region that is in, it's an invasion, of course, but it's a symbolic victory. He hasn't really gained anything that he didn't have a few weeks before. And as long as he stays there, I think there's a way potentially for Biden to de-escalate this, to let Putin have his symbolic victory. But you know what, Charles? No matter what happens in Ukraine, no matter what happens with these, in the Donbass, Putin's threat to the United States and to the world order will remain. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing issue. You're right. People lose sight of this. Putin doesn't. He's got his plans. He's not going anywhere. He's not up for re-election. So this is going to be a constant strain, and we just can't keep our eyes off the fact that he's a threat.
Let's turn the lens back to the U.S. Biden has already had one international issue with withdrawing troops from a conflict. This is the reverse of that, which is us engaging in a conflict in some way, not necessarily with troops, but also one that America doesn't seem to have an appetite for right now. People are not really engaged on the issue of Ukraine. Only 4 in 10 say that they were willing to or wanted the president to send more military supplies to Ukraine while they were negotiating with Russia. Only a third of the American people can even locate where the Ukraine is. There is just an overall kind of fatigue with conflict and war, and people are still dealing with COVID and the pandemic and what all the ripple effects of that. How does this play for Biden domestically getting involved in this conflict?
I think you're absolutely right. I think domestically, I think the White House very much wants to kind of put an end to this, right? They need to move on to things that are part of Biden's plan. The fact, like you said, the fact that he needs to appoint a Supreme Court justice. And that's absolutely true. From a political standpoint, Biden's got to worry about 2024. And he's in, there's some real challenges going forward. And I think the key for his reelection is not necessarily going to be Ukraine, but it's going to be, as you're talking about, domestic issues. But just if I can put a pin for that in a second, the big thing that I tell people when they ask me about Ukraine is that the invasion of Ukraine by Putin is essentially, and I don't mean to, sound that this is a big deal, because it is a big deal, is rolling back the norms from the Second World War. After the Second World War, we established this idea that there would be no more world wars. We're not going to go to war. A larger country is not going to just invade a smaller one because it can. That we're going to settle our differences in the United Nations. And look, I don't mean to say that there's not exceptions to that the U.S. hasn't been an instigator in many of those cases, but for the most part, that is an international norm that we've established, that the world has agreed to. And if Putin rolls back that international norm, then it will affect Americans here, because this type of conflict will happen more frequently. China will take Taiwan. Other countries will look at this and say, you know what, the international norms, the UN, I don't need to follow that. I can just take this because I can. That is very dangerous, and that will impact the United States. We've always been in this position. We're protected by two oceans, but we're in a global economy. We're in a global world that's all interconnected. The reality is that if those norms go away, if Europe is at risk of Putin's expansion and expansion of other countries, it will impact us here in the U.S.
Absolutely fascinating. Naveed Jamali, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate your time and your expertise.